The galaxy had always feared one thing above all: silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the one that followed a signal too powerful to exist. And that was exactly what the alien scouts of the Veloran Empire detected one cold rotation on the edge of Sector 19. At first, they thought it was an error. Their sensors were built to detect entire armadas, black holes, even the quantum traces of dying stars. But this signal was different. It wasn't noise, it wasn't a weapon signature, it was organized. A pattern so perfect it froze their instruments for 3 whole seconds. When the data returned, every scientist on the scout ship stared in disbelief. The pattern repeated with mathematical precision, a sequence that no known species had ever used. A signal written in an ancient binary code, one that matched records from the extinct civilizations catalog. But that wasn't the strange part. The origin point was supposed to be dead space, a place where no light had passed for centuries. The Veloran commander ordered a full scan. Long-range telescopes focused, gravitational sensors stretched their limits, and that's when the outlines appeared. A fleet, huge, motionless, completely dark, floating in the void like ghost ships. No energy readings, no life forms, just silent shadows against the black of space. The crew whispered among themselves. Could this be the remains of some forgotten war? Or abandoned machines drifting forever? But the closer they looked, the more their instruments began to malfunction. First the radar, then the energy scanners, then even their communication links flickered with static. It was as if the darkness itself was eating their systems. The commander decided to record everything. They sent encrypted data back to the Veloran High Command, fearing they might lose contact. The message carried a single line. We have found something human. The word human caused instant panic across the command network. The Velorans had heard stories long ago before humans disappeared into the deep. They were supposed to be a weak species, chaotic, emotional, but unpredictable. The Council had once labeled them as temporally dangerous, a polite way of saying they didn't follow universal laws of logic. And now, centuries later, here they were again. The scouts moved closer. The silent fleet hung still, each ship shaped unlike anything known, angular, sharp, blacker than the void around it. Some were as big as moons, others the size of frigates, but all shared one terrifying detail. No identification, no transponders, no heat signatures. It was as if they weren't built of matter at all. A scientist named Vecca suggested that maybe these ships were made from dark composite, a forbidden theory that involved using the mass of dead stars as hull material. But that was impossible. Even the oldest empires couldn't achieve that. Only something or someone who understood quantum gravity could. And then it happened. Without warning, every system on the scout ship froze. Engines halted. Lights died. Even emergency power refused to respond. For a few moments, there was nothing but silence and the crew's shallow breathing. Then, from the blackness outside, one of the ships moved, not with engines, not with thrust. It simply appeared closer, as if reality had skipped a frame. One moment it was distant. The next it was right beside them. The alien commander felt cold dread run through his veins. The human fleet wasn't dead. It was watching. Inside the Veloran ship, emergency systems tried to reboot. A strange message appeared on every console, written in a language no alien had ever seen before. Yet somehow they could all understand it. It read, "Observation complete. Do not follow." The message vanished a second later. Power returned. But every recording, every piece of data, every trace of the human fleet was gone, as if the encounter had never happened. When they finally tried to return home, their jump drive misfired. The navigation grid showed their location as unknown. Somehow the coordinates of their entire sector had shifted. The crew was floating in empty space that didn't exist on any galactic map. One of the scientists wept quietly. "They erased us," he said. "They erased everything around us." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, strange reports started surfacing. Communication networks experienced sudden resets. AI systems glitched for no reason. Starship fleets lost their navigation for seconds before rebooting. Everywhere, across dozens of empires, the same binary pattern appeared and vanished, just like the one detected by the Veloran scouts. At the Galactic Council headquarters, alarms blared. The last time something like this happened was when the humans first left their home system. Centuries ago, after the first expansion war. The Council had thought humanity was destroyed, wiped out by their own weapons. But the signal patterns were proof that they hadn't just survived, they had evolved. Whispers spread among the Council. What if humans had found something the galaxy wasn't meant to see? What if they had gone beyond known physics, beyond the edge of the universe itself? Theories began to form. Some said the humans had merged with machines. Others claimed they had learned to manipulate space-time. But no one had any proof, until one Council ship received a direct transmission. It contained a voice, distorted, human, calm. It said only one thing: "You are not ready." Every system that received the transmission went dark. The data self-deleted after 3 seconds. Entire servers melted as if burned by invisible energy. And yet deep in the ruins of the Veloran scout ship, one damaged log remained. It contained a single frame, a frozen image captured before the blackout. It showed one of the human ships up close. On its surface, carved in shining metal letters, was a name: USS Eternity. The Velorans didn't understand what it meant, but the humans did. The ship's name wasn't just a title, it was a warning. The galaxy had thought humanity was gone. But in truth, they had simply moved beyond time itself. For weeks, the galaxy whispered the same question: what happened to the Veloran scouts? Every transmission they sent had vanished. Every ship that went searching for them disappeared without a trace. And yet strange things began happening across the stars. Navigation systems in far sectors started showing impossible coordinates. Entire communication arrays rebooted themselves, displaying only 2 words before returning to normal: human signal. The Galactic Council tried to hide the news. But fear has a way of spreading faster than light. Soon, traders, captains, and explorers spoke in hushed tones about the ghost fleet. Some claimed to have seen the shadows of colossal ships in deep space, black against black, watching from a distance. Others swore they heard faint radio echoes in forgotten frequencies, all repeating one haunting code. Every empire began searching for answers, but none dared approach the area where the Veloran scouts vanished. That region of space had turned strange. Instruments malfunctioned, compasses spun endlessly, and time readings fluctuated. Some ships entered for a few minutes and came out days later. Others never came out at all. In the center of the galaxy, the Council gathered in silence. Dozens of species sat in the Grand Hall, each with their own translation screens and advisors, but the tension was the same everywhere. At the top stood the High Chancellor of the Galactic Council. His voice trembled as he spoke. The humans were erased from existence 5 centuries ago. How is it possible they still exist? No one had an answer. But one old archivist finally spoke, reminding them of something everyone had forgotten: the Human Ascension Project. It was a legend even older than the Council itself. The story went that before their final war, humanity had begun something impossible: an attempt to break free from time. They believed that if consciousness could exist beyond space-time, no force could destroy it. Everyone had laughed at the idea back then. But now the galaxy wasn't laughing anymore. Reports began arriving from other sectors. Massive energy waves, non-destructive but detectable, passed through entire star systems. In their wake, something changed. Quantum sensors began reading impossible data, stars that flickered as if someone had rewritten their light. In one empire, a probe recovered an ancient satellite drifting through the void. The metal was unmistakable, Earth titanium, human-made. But its surface held words none could translate until the machines did. It said, "We became what we were meant to be." The Council panicked. Was this a threat? A warning? Or a message of peace? Before they could decide, something strange happened again. Across thousands of systems, every major AI, civilian and military, suddenly paused. Then all at once they spoke in perfect unison. Observation complete. Then everything returned to normal. The Council chambers fell into chaos. Panic, fear, disbelief. Every species realized at that moment that something was watching them all. Something intelligent, something ancient. A few brave scientists proposed a meeting, a direct attempt to contact the humans. The Council agreed reluctantly. They sent a small research vessel, equipped with quantum shields, advanced translators, and artificial minds capable of processing time distortions. They called it Project Dawnlight. The ship left from the central system and entered the dark region where the human signal had been strongest. For the first few hours, everything went smoothly. Then reality began to change. The crew saw stars shift positions. Distant galaxies appeared closer, then vanished. Clocks ticked backward. The universe itself seemed to fold and unfold like a living thing. The captain of Dawnlight reported seeing shadows in the void, massive shapes moving between layers of space, invisible to scanners. Then, as the last transmission came through, everyone heard the same sound, a heartbeat, slow, heavy, echoing through the entire ship, and then silence. For several days, nothing happened. The council assumed the mission had failed. But one morning, without any signal or transmission, the Dawnlight appeared in orbit over the central world, completely intact. When they boarded it, the ship was empty. No crew, no signs of life. Only a single message burned into the bridge console, carved into the metal itself. It said, "We told you not to follow." But below those words was something else. A symbol. A star, surrounded by 12 smaller ones, all linked by a single spiral. The historians recognized it instantly. It was the ancient emblem of the United Earth Federation. That night, the Council's most secure servers went offline. Every database containing information about pre-war humanity was wiped. Archives, videos, genetic data, everything deleted. Only one file remained, renamed by an unknown user. Its title, Eternity Protocol. Inside was a single image, the same as the one found on the Veloran Scout's recorder, the ship USS Eternity. Beneath it, a human phrase translated across every language in the galaxy. "We are the observers now." From that moment, strange phenomena began to spread. Entire fleets would lose power when approaching certain regions. Weapons designed to bend space-time failed. Even the most advanced races realized that the fundamental laws of the universe were shifting. Some believed the humans had discovered how to rewrite reality itself. Others thought they had merged with the fabric of time, no longer physical, but existing as living energy across the universe. A decade later, explorers claimed to have found a small planet far from any star, its surface perfectly smooth, covered in silver dust. At its center stood a single monument, half buried, with human writing etched deep into the stone. The translation sent chills through every scholar who read it. "We are not gone. We have simply learned what comes after existence." After that, every empire forbade exploration near human space. It became a place of silence, a forbidden zone marked on every galactic map as the luminous void. Still, ships passing close by sometimes reported strange things. Echoes of human voices, faint light patterns forming in the dark. Whispers carried through the cosmic background radiation. Some claimed they saw faces in the stars. And yet the greatest mystery was this. Humanity's influence began to grow again. Technologies across the galaxy started evolving in ways no scientist could explain. New ideas, inventions, and breakthroughs appeared almost simultaneously across different species, as if someone somewhere was guiding their progress from beyond. It was as if the humans had become the architects of evolution itself. 1,000 cycles later, the legend of humanity became a sacred myth, a story told to remind every civilization of their limits. The oldest alien philosophers summarized it in one line that became known across all worlds. The humans didn't vanish. They ascended, and in the deepest corners of the cosmos, when long-range sensors accidentally locked onto something too perfect, too silent, too powerful, one phrase would appear in their systems for a single instant before deleting itself. USS Eternity. Observation ongoing. No one dared investigate again. The galaxy had learned its lesson. For once, silence was not ignorance. It was respect, because somewhere beyond time the humans still watched, and the universe itself obeyed.